Hey guys, welcome to another episode of JoINrbs Makes Fun of Himself on camera. I'm not even on camera. While attempting to be informative about League of Legends. This game is not a game where I want to talk about team composition much, or really my lane at all. I think the teams are fairly even. I think my lane had a couple of actually pretty remarkable good plays by him, and some fairly poor play by me. I'm playing Jax for like the third time in several months. I don't remember why I picked Jax. I like Jax. I think maybe it was that like the people I'm playing against are so bad that I felt like I should just be able to hit them over the head with a lamppost and win easily, which is sort of what happens. But I didn't do great in lane, and I don't think the lane is worth trying to learn from. So, whatever. Both of our teams have some late game, some early game, some engage, some disengage, some siege, some wave clear. You know, we got all this stuff. I think what he just did was really, really good, especially considering I started Darren's Blade, which is like probably wrong in this matchup. And yeah, Ezreal already gets first blood. So what I actually want to talk about in this video, once we get through this painful wave, is how to play for objectives after laning, and how to understand when you can be farming jungle and when you should be standing somewhere else, and where that somewhere else should be. And my working understanding of how it works, and it's not like I am a League of Legends master or anything, but I can only tell you how I think about this stuff pretty much. The way I think about this stuff is that a champion can farm, can pressure, or can fight. And like pre-12 minutes or something, it's pretty okay if the champions on your team are doing different things. If one champion is farming the jungle, and another champion is pressuring a tower, and another champion is fighting in their lane. Because the lanes are very disconnected, and the towers close everything off. So I'm gonna slow it down here, because stuff actually starts happening at 8 minutes. So this tower's here, this tower's here. That means that pretty much each team needs one champion in this lane, and there's always going to be pressure between these two towers. Once one of these towers goes down, or once both of the towers goes down, there's this gigantic space, and very often there will be absolutely no pressure in top lane. Like the minion wave might be hitting here, or it might be like hitting here and slowly accumulating to go here, but for like 2 minutes straight there won't be any pressure being created in the lane. And at that point you need to start going to other places on the map. Okay. So I had to teleport back to lane because of a good Vi gank. I very nearly was able to save my flash, but in the end got hit by another cleaver and had to flash. Actually, I think I flashed the cleaver that was going to hit me, but yeah, had to blow my flash. So they get a dragon, and I'm gonna get the outer tower for it pretty easily because I'm Jax and I'm not like huge. I have a Vamp Scepter and a longsword. I'm going Blade of the Ruin King first, which I have no idea if that's correct. Probably Triforce is better. I don't know though. They're getting a catch in here, nothing much to say. Ahri Vi is a really obnoxious mid lane jungle combination. If you ever like wanna know what to jungle for a mid lane Ahri. So I get outer tower. So in that trade, 3 things happened. Mundo used his teleport. Top outer went down for them. Dragon went down, like for both teams. It's off the map for the next 6 minutes. 6 seconds would be a little broken. Okay. So like, how does this matter? Well, the objective trade of Dragon for their top outer is quite good for their team, in my opinion. 2 big reasons for this. One is against a Vi jungler, they have real gank pressure on me. This is so greedy. Like, I should just walk here, pretty obviously. I'm getting pressured pretty hard in this lane and not responding to it very well. So, I'm dead, in case you're wondering. Oh, I get really close to living though. good ward hop. So this lane is open from here to here, but the situation is that with like an Ahri mid and a Vi jungle, and Mundo's like pretty hard to run away from even if he doesn't like have a ton of burst damage, it's very hard for me to actually be in this half of the lane. So a lot of the time, like, minions are going to be over here and I just can't farm anymore. I've lost a lot of my ability to do anything. Meanwhile, Mundo can still stand here pretty comfortably because, well, I don't know if you saw the quick gank attempt that Amumu had on him, but I didn't even take an ignite in this game. I'm not at all interested in winning the lane, really. If I wanted to be able to kill Mundo, obviously I would have taken ignite. And so because of that, Mundo's still able to pressure my tower very much. So top lane is turned into a place where like our team can't really create any pressure and often can't even farm. And their team still has all of their options available to them pretty much. So that was quite good for them. And then our bot lane is like really obliterating their bot lane. I don't really understand how, because I think that Graves mutilates Ezreal. I think he just puts Ezreal in the dumpster. But the fact that our bot lane is so far ahead meant that that dragon was probably going to go to us in the next 3 minutes when they took it. So getting the dragon off the map is really good for them, I think. I think overall the trade for them is like trading Mundo teleport for like 1200 effective gold or something. And my team is ahead on gold because our bot lane's like up, but that's missing the fact that the map is currently set up unfavorably for us, which is something that you do have to factor into like which team is winning. And it's also missing the fact that our potential to continue getting ahead is greatly diminished by Dragon being gone from the map. So, our team is winning, but they, I think, made a very good play. In the fight that just happened, I actually used my teleport to get Ahri off people. I didn't kill her, she didn't kill me, I didn't get an assist or anything, but I prevented her from killing 1 or 2 people on my team. So I think it was an okay use of teleport, and we lose this tower. So at this point, I think realistically Mundo can just push into here with like no wards, and my team can do very little about it. I can still farm up to like here safely, but having this tower gone makes it quite a lot harder for me to farm. Like this ward is very valuable to me and my ability to farm in the top lane. But the big thing is now the top lane is very, very open, and it's hard for either team to create pressure in the lane. When this tower was here, there was still a lot of incentive for me to stay in the lane because their team could create pressure on my tower. I don't necessarily want to be stuck to the lane. It might be okay for me to give up the tower if I see something better for me to do on the map. But it does make it much easier for me to go do other things at this point, now that both of those towers are down. So the first thing I do is completely defend top river with a ward here and a ward here. Those are both green wards, and those are very, very valuable wards for our team. And then I rotate mid. So I'm going to see someone coming from above us, so I'm staying to the top side of the lane right there. And then my team is all clustering around Dragon, which is going to be up soon. And this is where I realized that I don't know if I've made a mistake, or if their team has just played it well, or even if their team has accidentally played it well. But Dragon's up in 7 seconds, and Mundo is about to hit there, and Mundo has teleport up, and I don't. So we're in a really difficult situation here, where I can go chase the wave, but I can't actually chase him down. Like, I have a stun to stop his teleport, but I can't run after him or he'll kill me. And like Dragon's happening over here. So my team's slightly ahead, but this is not a fight that we want to engage. This is a 4v5. And I'm not sure if they like realize it as they do it, but their team basically successfully engineered a situation where they could get a 4v5 with a dragon. And doing that is going to be like pretty beneficial to your win rate. Unfortunately for them, they managed to actually lose the 4v5. It's worth talking about my movement here real quick. So as this fight broke out, I was here. And if I walk towards this fight, I don't expect to get there to make a difference to the fight realistically. But there's very little opportunity cost to me going to the fight. If I stay here, all I'm doing is like farming 2.5 waves or something. Realistically, there's no way I'm going to get this tower. Their people are going to respawn and clear any minions that I push all the way to this tower before I kill it. And I'm not even like these are going to be people who were dead, so they're coming from fountains, so I'm not even causing them to lose pressure somewhere else on the map by doing it. So given that shoving all this up is doing absolutely nothing for me or my team, it makes much more sense for me to move mid, and by moving mid, I actually secure us the dragon. Because we had 2 alive versus an Ahri at the end of the fight, and me arriving meant that the Ahri was pretty much forced off, no more threat from her, and we can take the dragon. I can tank it because I'm full. So, I think that I did a good job of making the best of a pretty terrible situation there. I'm not sure what could have been done to avoid the situation. My teleport was on cooldown because of a fight that I feel that I did need to respond to. So, I think it's just like a good use of teleport by Mundo and good maximization of that situation by his team. Every time I want to stick on Jax, I have to like, yeah. I wonder if there's some way to fix that. I have to go to a different champion first, it seems like. Okay. So now let's talk about farming, pressuring, and fighting. Because we're at a situation now where while the rest of the map may be pretty closed, my lane is totally open. So Mundo can sort of pressure me, and I can like sort of create pressure for my team by countering his pressure. Even though I'm not risking like taking a tower, the fact that I'm countering his pressure is worth something, and I'm playing the pressure game by doing it. But yeah, both of us have the ability to go somewhere else on the map. So right now, our team is managing to get bot tower while I'm farming, which is pretty impressive. And Mundo was also near me at some point, and then he recalled, so he wasn't there. But I can't expect my team to be able to get all the objectives while I just stand and farm. And if Mundo's not in my lane, especially, I want to be somewhere else. So rather than pushing this wave up, which I could do safely after Mundo recalls, I come mid, and my entire team is able to coordinate to pressure mid here. Now, 5 people pressuring mid, like their Graves being here becomes terrible, and the rest of their team is forced to stay here. We also, because we have so much pressure, are able to get some good kills. And like you would think that we'd be able to get the tower off this, but what actually happens is the Graves come back and kills a bunch of us. It would be really nice for my team to let me lifesteal off this CS. Oh, I took a tower shot? I only just realized that. I watched this, I like played this game and watched the replay 3 times I think, and I only just realized that I took a tower shot there. Well, that's pretty bad. I felt like I got hit by the Graves ult twice, but I guess it was the tower shot and the Graves ult. I don't know what the point of flashing there was. It's better just to die and have your flash up, for sure. Okay. So that stuff happened, and now we're in, like, a holding pattern, sort of. Nobody is out on the map doing anything. So I feel like a lot of people have no idea what to do here. We have buffs to collect, sure. It's not a bad time to collect buffs at all. Other things you can do are, like, get vision around the Baron. It's a good thing to do. And you can also just start pressuring something again. You can also respond to the other team's pressure. Like what I'm doing is going down here. And another thing you can do is just be available to respond to whatever needs to happen. So I went and cleared Wraiths, and it's not because, like, I think it's time to farm the jungle. It's because Wraiths are centralized in the map, and I can respond to however their team redistributes. pretty effectively. I did not buy a ward this back, I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna guess that I spent all of my money on home guards, but I don't know. I don't think buying home guards was good either. Anyway, I'll make fun of myself for my buys and pop-ups, which I'll make after this voice recording. Okay. So I go down here and shove this out. I can't take this by myself, so I come mid. Okay. This is important as this fight pans out. Mundo's over here. He's creating a lot of pressure on this tower. I have teleport out, so my options are I can teleport here, I can keep going here and pressure this tower, or I can go here and create 5v4 pressure here. If I go farm golems here, it's terrible. Absolutely terrible. I'm making my team play 5v4. There are times when it's okay to go farm golems. Like if the rest of your team is farming and their team isn't pressuring anything, you can go farm golems, for sure. But if all 5 members of their team are creating pressure on the map, you're losing your team the game if you are a person not creating any pressure anywhere. So, what I ended up doing was I chose not to go here because I think that they can rotate and kill me pretty easily, and I didn't buy any wards. And I saw that Vi was here like clearing out a ward or something, and I was able to jump on her counter strike, get some good damage in, and then we were 5v4 and sort of brawling, so that forced Mundo's TP here. So by doing that, I was able to relieve the pressure here, and I still have my teleport up, but Mundo's teleport is down. I think it was like a very, very strong play, and it's something you need to be aware of if you're trying to play top lane and respond to pressure of a teleport split pusher, that you can create pressure on your own instead of just trying to respond to their pressure. And it's also something that you need to be aware of. This is sort of comical. E costs 100 mana, right? 50 mana. He has E up. Oh, that's W. Okay. E costs 90 mana. So, perhaps walking like this way would have been preferable to what he did. That was sad. Okay. It's something that you need to be aware of too if you're just like in a solo queue game against a Master Yi or something. You are gonna get to a point where Master Yi's like going crazy and pushing side waves and trying to take the inhibitor, because that's what solo queue Master Yi does. And like Tryndamere does this too, and etc, etc, etc. Nasus does it, except much more slowly, but he sort of does the same thing. And in those situations, very, very often, rather than trying to respond to their split push, you want to just do better than them by a 5v4. So Master Yi can like push up here however fast and eventually take your inhibitor. Well, rather than putting someone over here to try to counter Master Yi, which is like okay, alright? You don't want to like... You're just like clearing minions under tower if you do that. Their team is slightly advantaged if you do that generally. But rather than do that, you can just have your group of 5 and like go take Baron, or go shove this tower and dive them, or something like that. That forces Master Yi to abandon his plan, basically, if you can create more pressure than he is with your team. That's a very important thing to understand. This is dumb. I shouldn't have engaged here. Alright, so here's a good moment to talk about fighting, as Ari Charm misses me by about 600 units. See, if I just click that, it doesn't go to me. So I said you can farm, you can pressure, you can fight. And I haven't really talked about fighting yet, because all of our fights this game have been about pressure, really. Their team creates pressure around Dragon, we end up having to fight. We create pressure at a tower and end up being able to dive, etc, etc, etc. But that was a situation where I like tried to fight in a situation where there was no pressure, basically. I think Ezreal was like over here and Amumu was over here, and I legitimately thought that we might be able to kill Vi. I don't think I'd seen Thresh or something, I don't know. She got away pretty easily, but it's not like anybody else dealt damage to her. But the point is that if you fight, you really need the rest of your team to be doing some sort of pressure or fighting themselves. Like here's a situation where my team is fighting and Brand is over here clearing the blue buff, which is a totally okay thing to do. Sometimes farming the jungle is good, and like when it's collecting your buffs, that's especially true. But my team walked in here and fought. I was up here with teleport, and the result was like we lost people. My teleport is now down in like a misguided attempt to try to salvage the fight. And like the immediate result is that we lose people, and then the next result is that Mundo is able to teleport down here and I have absolutely no recourse, and we lose a bot inner. So yeah, you need to be careful about fighting when your team isn't doing anything valuable. And because fighting can arise very easily from pressure, like just like trying to get that ward down is a way of creating pressure. Offensive warding, getting vision. Because fighting can arise just from pressure, the fact is that if you're late in the game and you're farming the jungle while your team... Oh, Ezreal tried to heal Brand there and couldn't. But this was another perfect example, as they 2v2'd people who were much weaker than them and killed them, and then the other team was there and killed them back. Basically the point is, if you're farming the jungle at the wrong time, past like 15 minutes, you're losing your team the game. The pressure game is massively important in LoL, and if you're playing the pressure game 5v4, you will just bleed a ton of stuff and lose. Unless your team is miles and miles ahead, it's not going to work out well for you to play the pressure game 5v4. So, it's good that Brand took that blue buff. That makes a lot of sense. But what our team needs to do is recognize that someone on our team is taking the blue buff and like retreat for a while. Stay and defend the tower. Was that tower up? I don't remember. But just like clear waves here, put wards here or something while Brand is collecting the blue buff. We played over aggressively and got punished. If you watch like, I don't know, I was watching CLG vs Dig today, and they were at 40 minutes or something, and all 8 non-buff jungle camps were up. Like always. The only exception was when somebody went to lifesteal off one. And that's because farming the jungle just isn't playing the pressure game anymore. You can still get farm off the waves because killing waves is creating pressure. But you don't get any pressure from farming the jungle. We're taking Dragon here. Even like taking Dragon or Baron can give up pressure, but typically it's worth enough to make a good play anyway. I think unfortunately that the video is going to end after this fight, but you get to see me end on a triple kill. I'm just hanging out here because like there's no reason to run into all of their damage dealers when their damage dealers have very few people to deal damage to. And yeah, and I believe the video will crash now. So I'm actually going to go back and take another look at that team fight and go through it a little bit more slowly. I haven't talked about a team fight at all before, and I think that was a decent one to talk about. And yeah, hope that you have enjoyed this video. Man, I timed that pretty damn well, huh? Alright. Okay, so here's the setup of this dragon fight. And we're like slightly ahead here, but this dragon fight is where we win the game fully. First off, like, this is an odd situation because Brand is separated from us. However, how it ends up working out for us is quite good. I believe what their team should do is Ahri should try to assassinate Brand here, and the rest of their team should sort of hold, don't actually engage on us. But yeah, sort of watch what happens. So I was standing here hoping to counter-strike into their team if they walked a little bit too close, but they ward over and see me. I get hooked and they're engaging into us. good tidal wave goes through. Okay. So this is like, I think the worst thing that you can do in a solo queue fight. This is, you've probably seen fight recaps on the LCS. This is not an LCS team fight. I want to make sure everybody's aware of this. Okay, this is probably the worst thing that you can do in a solo queue fight. Vi, okay, she's ulting Nami, which is obviously undesirable, but the thing she's doing, which is really, really bad, is she's diving into our team, on a champion which won't survive and which can't kill anybody. So it's one thing to dive a team and kill someone, like kill their marksman with your dive. That's great. It's another thing to, oh, like Zed would be an example of a champion who could do that pretty well. Although often Zed doesn't actually want to dive into the enemy team in a team fight. Other times it's okay to dive into the enemy team to CC them and then like get out. And other times, well, that's what Amumu's about to do right here. Other times you're so big that you can just walk around in the enemy team. And that's what Mundo is doing. And that's typically what you want to do as a tank. You want to walk around in the enemy team, forcing their damage dealers to attack you, and allowing your damage dealers to attack their tanks. For the longest time, as I was trying to struggle through silver and gold, I bought into the very silly things like focus the AD carry and you have to focus Zed, etc, etc, etc. Almost always in team fights, what you want to do is kill the tanks first, because the tanks are closest to you. And if for some reason the AD carry is closest to you, then you kill him, sure. But like what Vi is doing here is just creating a situation where all of these people can focus her down and kill her instantly, and none of her team can aid her in any way. This is really, really bad. Okay, and these people are all turning towards Brand, who's like presumably going to have to flash away or something. Ahri misses all of her skill shots. Note that I still haven't committed to anything. Like what I'm doing is totally fine. Their damage can't deal damage to me. I'm like a tanky bruiser. What I want to be doing is just stopping their damage from killing these guys. And hey, I'm doing that because their damage isn't shooting those guys. So it's totally fine for me to just stand here with Mundo hitting me right now. I don't have to go crazy and dive anybody. Their damage is being ineffectual, so I don't have to get in its face. Now it's shooting at a Mumu who like has an hourglass, so like whatever at that. Alright. So Mumu ult happens, their damage still can't do anything at all. So far in this team fight, Vi has run into our damage and died like instantly. For nothing. Their damage wasn't able to deal anybody by her doing that. Sorry, let's... Okay. No more hourglass sound. Mundo has walked into our damage and is tanking a ton, which is his job. But it's only his job if it lets his damage deal things to us. Meanwhile, like, Ahri and Graves have like missed their stuff. Thresh has had to flash out, and the only person they could attack was a Mumu who was golden because of his hourglass. Brand is over here and hasn't like done a whole lot yet, but he's also like starting to threaten their damage now. So yes, my team is ahead here, but we're mostly winning because they just didn't have anybody to attack and gave us 2 free kills. Okay. So they finally managed to kill a Mumu, and Amumu's pretty much done his job. Please don't like look at Amumu's score and see that he's 1-6 and be like, oh Mumu, you're so terrible. That death, like, how about you make him 1-5-10 plus like a purple heart? Because his death there is absolutely great. He zoned their damage for as long as he possibly could in a useful way, which is to say he wasn't just like in their damage dying for free like Vi was while their damage did nothing. He was in their damage stopping their damage from doing anything while our damage killed Vi and Mundo. So that's a great death by Mumu. Good job of Mumu. And yeah, now it's just a chase, which is a little less interesting, but I want to like point out real quick, sometimes you want to chase, sometimes you don't. This is a situation where I still have Bork, I have Flash, I have Jump coming up soon, and their team can't really run away. So we can kill a ton of them, and it makes a lot of sense to chase there. Other times though, your team may not be able to chase. And like, if you can't kill them in 10 seconds after one team fight, probably you should have just been killing the Baron or something. Like, if you win a team fight so hard that you feel like you can chase them for 20 seconds, well, you probably won it hard enough that you could have killed the Baron, and that would be worth more gold. Okay, that was like a little intro to an attempt at team fight analysis by JoINrbs. Hope you enjoyed.